Hi, I'm Geoff Newmyer. In 2023, I found out I was the first recipient of the Jan Oelofse Legacy Award. This award, it was the first year that they came out with it. Jan, for 30 years, he gave away a 10-day, 10-animal hunt to the Safari Club. It was part of the Pathfinders Award. And this was the first year they decided to do their own award, and I was the first recipient of it. And when I found this out, it was a dream come true. I had an accident about 16 years ago. I fell from a tree and I was put in a wheelchair. And I always dreamed about going to Africa, but after the accident, I never thought it was ever going to be possible. And then once I got this award and they're like, we can get you there, you're going to go hunting. It was a dream come true. With the SCI chapter, the actual Michigan SCI chapter, and Joe Patterson, they took my application that they had submitted a couple times through the Pathfinders Award, and they submitted it to it was going to be the first recipient of the Jan Oelofse Legacy Award. It was the first year that they did this, and when I found out that I won this award, and then they began to tell me the details about it, I'm sure I was grinning ear to ear, kind of like I am right now, just talking about it. And then I find out the more and more as it goes on, it comes with Legends Taxidermy is taking care of all the taxidermy. Coppersmith is taking care of all of the international and the domestic importing of the animals. Two Outdoors sent us a bunch of gear right before we went on the hunt, all their new clothing that just came out so we could try it out, which I just thought was pretty cool because they just thought the award was deserving of that. And a big thanks to the SCI Michigan chapter for covering all of our flights. This award is the Jan Oelofse Legacy Award. And this is honestly, it's the reason they came up with the name because it's the legacy of Jan Oelofse, Alex's dad, Annette's husband, and they wanted to keep the legacy of what he's been doing for 30 years. That's why they named it what they did, because he loved, from what I've heard the stories, he loved giving this award out every year. And then, I can't thank Alex and Annette and Corolla enough. I mean, for one, to continue to do this because of what it does. I mean, if they only knew how the recipients feel when you get something like this. I mean, we try to show them and try to tell them, but if they could truly feel what it feels like, there's nothing like it. To have somebody to take their own, a piece of them, a piece of their heart, their conservation, their home, and invite someone like us, I mean, at no cost whatsoever, to spend 10 days there it is so giving, and it's almost like you don't feel deserving of it to be there the whole time. It was just an amazing time. So with the award, I was able to bring someone with me to accompany me and just to help out and to experience the trip with me. So the first one was my wife, and as much as she wanted to go, for one, we have two young girls, and she didn't want both of us leaving them at home, and then she hates to fly. So 16 hours to 17 hours on one flight was just not going to cut it. And she just said, I can't do it. I'm not going to go. I would love to, but I can't go. So the next person that was in line was a good friend of mine, Tony. We do a lot of hunting together. We've been on a lot of trips together, and I know he knows the role that sometimes he's got to play with helping me on the trip. So he was my go-to man, and he's like, yep, I'm in. I mean, it was one phone call and he was in. So, now it's getting ready. We got the dates, we found out when we were going, and now we're finding out, we're getting ready. One of the coolest things was a good friend of mine, T-Bone, sent me up a brand new bow. I got a brand new bow to hunt with. We were gonna do some gun hunting, some bow hunting, just kind of however it played out is what we were gonna do. So, I mean, leading up to it, I was a little nervous because there's extra things that I need to take with me. I've never been so far from home, and there's some necessities that I need and that I kind of rely on that I can take with me, but it was still just making sure I still had those comforts and being that far from home. It's always in the back of your mind. You're like, can I do this physically, mentally? Can I do this? I haven't done this since I've had my injury. So now we're ready, boarded the plane, And honestly, the flights couldn't have gone any better. I mean, we landed into Joburg. We had to spend the night there. The next morning, hop on a plane to Windhoek, Namibia. And honestly, the flights, the travel went excellent. And you know, when you start a trip off that way, it just helps set the stage for the week. So we really were thankful for that. When we made it into Windhoek, we had a 3-hour ride up to Jan Oelofse safaris, and when we finally arrived, honestly, just the first view of it was everything I dreamed of being in Africa to go hunting. And then, you know, I had met Alex before, but I met his mom and Nat, and you know, just kind of gave us the rundown of how things were going to work. My PH was there to meet me. He's like, I'm with you for the week. You got me. And Alan was awesome. He really was. He did an awesome job. And then from the main lodge, we have about a 20-minute, half an hour ride back to the hunting lodge, and that's where we're going to stay, which is in like the middle of the property. And just the ride in was amazing. He kept stopping for us. We seen rhinos, we seen giraffes, and we're taking pictures of these giraffes. He's like, hey, I'll stop as much as you want, but you're gonna get sick and tired of seeing giraffes by the end of the week. So, I mean, just the ride in, that would have made the trip right there. I could have been done right there, because it's not so much about, as much as I love hunting, it was just being to experience this. I could have went the whole week without getting an animal, and it would have been fine. And just the experience, like I said, the food and the people, and they're just amazing people there. So the second day we were there, I had no idea what animals I was going to be hunting. So on the second day, Alex gave us the list. Me and the PH, he gave us the list. We're like, all right, we got a hit list. We know what we're after. And you know, there's one thing that I've always wanted, and that was a gemsbuck. I just thought they were a beautiful animal. I always said, if I ever go to Africa, I'm going after one of those. So really, and he explained to me, he's like, some of these animals are easier than others, so we're gonna go after the harder animals, but if some of the other animals, he's like, this is Africa, this is Namibia, anything else can come popping out at different times, and then we'll decide if we wanna chase after that and cut off the other animal, and then we'll go back to the hit listers, the harder animals to get. So it probably took us, it was 2.5, 3 days into the hunt, and I don't think I had an animal dead yet. And so finally, as you can see, the first animal I ever killed in Africa was an ostrich.
Okay, I'm ready.
From there, it was only like another day, and we finally got that gemsbuck. And then, of course, like anything else, the next 2 days, 3 days, we seen 1 or 2 every day. It seems like every animal we were after was the animal that was hiding. And then after I was able to get one, then we'd see multiple ones every time. It was just that, but that's how, as anybody knows, that's how hunting goes. So the next animal that was up was the blue wildebeest, and we hunted that one hard. It was just like the gemsbuck. We hunted that one hard, and finally we sat on a water hole, and I think we had it in our minds we were not leaving that water hole until a blue wildebeest came there. And sure enough, the first group that came there was a family group with a big bull in it, but their conservation is so good that bull is off limits. That is one that they need that for the herd, and it was really interesting to learn all this stuff, that conservation is everything there, because without it, they're not going to have these animals. So we waited another probably hour, and a beautiful bull came in, and I was able to get my blue wildebeest. And then from there, I was able to get a steenbuck. I was able to get a impala with my bow. I was able to go after a giraffe with my bow. And originally going there, I didn't have plans of hunting a giraffe. But once I saw how many were there, I think we had it for lunch 3 or 4 days, and I seen the conservation. I understood why another one needed to be taken, and I was all game for it. So we went after the giraffe, and we found one actually right away in the morning, and I was able to get a shot off with my bow. And I mean, the giraffe hunt was definitely one of the highlights. I was able to get a springbuck, and then we hunted. They had 2 different zebras. They have the mountain zebra and the Burchell zebra, and I was able to get a mountain zebra And the one animal that I really wanted, me personally, is I wanted to go after a kudu. So I said, all right, there was a couple other animals, a warthog that I said, we'll hunt after if we get a chance at the kudu. So the last 2.5 days, we were after a kudu. And we seen plenty. But if something could go wrong, for me, it went wrong chasing the kudu. Finally, the second to the last night, had one in bow range. 8 inches of his left antler was broken off. So we just decided not to take him. The last day I was hunting with a rifle, and we sat on a water hole all morning long, pretty much right into the afternoon. And it wasn't until 2 or 3 we finally had a big bull kudu come in. And as he walked in and stopped, a cow turned directly in front of him. I mean, you know, hunting's hunting, and that's how it was. And I'm waiting patiently, and a swirl of wind came up, and that's all it took. He turned and he ran away, and we laughed and we said, well, now we know that I got to come back to go chase another kudu. So I guess, you know, at the end of the day, it was awesome chasing the kudu, but now because I didn't get one, I got to go back. And if I thought the hunting was good, the lodge was amazing. The people were amazing. I mean, the rooms that we stayed in, I mean, it was 5 stars all day long, right down to the area where we ate breakfast every day. There was a hangout area, and then there was a special room where we all sat in a circle every night, and a fireplace in the middle, and that's where we were served dinner every night. And the food was like, honestly, it was like nothing I've ever had before. It was, you know, for all the meats, it was wild game, and then every other type of food you could ever imagine. But the food is, I don't know, I don't think it's not processed food. So you could, every night I said, I am going to be just stuffed and I'm going to be miserable because I ate so much, and every night I felt great and I was ready to do it the next day. So from that point of the hunt, I couldn't say enough for the staff there and how they treated us and how they fed us and how they took care of us. And then there was also a bar area was the very end part of the lodge, and it's elevated a lot higher than the main floor. It's like, I'd say, a second story, and it's just a big circle bar area, a lookout area is what it is, with a bar on the one end of it where you could sit up there and overlook some of the property. It's so big that it's just overlooking some of the property. But it's stairs to get up there. So quite a few years ago, Alex built a lift, a spiral lift that we hooked up. When we got there, they got me in the plate, and they didn't have to haul me up the steps. They had a lift that brought me right up there so I could hang out with everybody in the bar area. So we got to experience the entire lodge for 10 days. And again, the lodge was, I mean, the hunt was amazing, but the lodge is the other part that made the hunt so enjoyable. And you know, you really did. You felt like you were at home. And let me tell you about Alan, my PH, and Robert, my tracker. You know, they went above and beyond. You know, it took extra time to get me in the vehicle, get me out, wheel me here, wheel me there. I mean, it does take extra work, and they were all for it. Whatever you need, whatever it takes. And he was really accommodating, like, you know, do you need a break? Do you need to do this? And so just those things of just being there for me. I mean, he was there for my hunt, and, you know, and those guys are so good at what they do, and knowing the animals, following the animals, knowing what animals I can shoot, because, you know, in my mind, they all look like trophies, and they're like, no, that one's not a trophy. Yes, that one's a trophy. No, we can't shoot that one. So it was so good having them there, and there's a reason they're there. But I can't thank those guys enough for helping me out all week long and putting me on all the amazing animals that they did. You know, winning the Jan Oelofse Legacy Award was, I said it 100 times, but it was a dream. And I know as they continue to give this award that the next person in line to get it is so deserving. And I'm going to tell you right now, it is going to be a dream come true of a hunt of a lifetime, an experience of a lifetime. The only problem is it's just going to leave you wanting to go back. That's what it did to me. The day I was leaving, you know, you're tired. You're there for 10 days, a lot of travel. And in your mind, you know, the travel that it's going to take to get back home. But I didn't want to leave. I always say I could have stayed there. But I was missing my wife and 2 girls, and I could not wait to get home and see them. You know, the last thing we did was I was able to thank, just like I want to do now, thank Alex and Annette and Corolla for continuing in the legacy of Jan, which I was honestly never able to meet him, but I heard enough stories and to know the heart of the man, that this is his true legacy. And I can't thank you enough.